Welcome to another episode of the Schiller Hamilton Law Firm podcast. Today I'm joined by two of my favorite people, Bakari Rawlinson and Derek Crawford, who are not only good friends, but also happen to be the leaders of the Ramah Rams Juco college football program. And I just love the origin story of this and the whole idea of everything that you're doing. But why don't you kind of tell me a little bit, tell everybody about the origin story here and what made y'all start this?
Opportunity, to provide opportunity. I was, I might have said one time I was asleep and God told me to get up and do something, and I did it. Yeah.
So when was this? Let's go back a little ways. What was that, about 5 years ago, I think?
Yeah, around about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I had
what was on your mind at the time?
Football. Just football opportunity. Wish I could get back out there and play, and if I couldn't, I wish I could give somebody else that opportunity that I would want to have. And I looked at all the talent and saw and actually heard where a lot of individuals wasn't going to college, and it was a grade issue. Then I started doing my research, and a lot of young men were trying to go to California. Parents couldn't afford it, or they were going out toward Kansas, somewhere like that, and it just got costful. I said, well, what if we could put something here like that here along the East Coast and provide opportunity? How many more guys could go to college, or how many more lives can be changed?
So these are young kids, about what age group? So these are right out of high school people coming in.
Right out of high school, 18 to 21.
So when you first started this, were you looking at all the talent? Because this is Football City, USA. We're in Rock Hill. Were you looking at local talent? Were you looking at this problem nationally? What problem were you identifying out of the gate?
I was identifying our local talent. I knew about some guys that were in the NFL, but I just looked locally how many more could go to the NFL if an opportunity was presented. And I believe we're starting to really achieve the goal of getting more guys interested in going to college.
So when you say the opportunity being presented, so someone might ask, so these are kids who play high school football on one of the biggest stages in the state. I mean, if you play for, South Point, Northwestern, or Rock Hill, I don't want to forget Rock Hill.
Don't forget York.
Or York. If you play for one of these programs, these are some of the best programs in the state. So how does a kid that excels on one of these teams, how do they get missed? What happens?
Well, a lot of it's academics. And, it's kind of hard for some guys to fathom some of the curriculum that's put before them. That's just kind of hard on them. And then, some of them have they're low income areas and opportunities are not there. They say they are, but it's a lot of struggle throughout the day where they can't stay focused on some of those opportunities. Then you need leadership or some type of mentorship in those areas. And that's where we come in at, bringing some mentorship. We have I can mention his name, Donald Trey Sims. He needs that mentorship, and it's actually making a huge impact in his life. Now, of course, there's going to be some hiccups, some bumps and stuff along the road, but he's actually in school, and he's doing very well. Just past semester, he ended with a 3.2 GPA. But when he was in high school, he had a 1.9 GPA. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not just about football.
It's not just about football. It's about the mentorship, and it's about, that opportunity. Because some guys wouldn't go to college if they didn't have the opportunity to play football. So football is a platform to get them to go to school. And, once we get them out there, we say things to them to get them to think. And once we get them thinking, we know we got them going into a better direction.
So you guys have been at this, was it about 5 years now, right?
Close to 5 years, yes.
So you've had an opportunity to bring some of these guys into the team through the program. What's been the result? What have you seen? I know you've transitioned a lot of guys into 4-year programs. Can you tell me a little bit about the numbers and what you've seen?
Totally, not only from our program, but from helping other high school graduates get into college. We're well over 100.
So these are 100 people.
Over 100.
That otherwise wouldn't have had the opportunity to go to college, wouldn't have otherwise had the opportunity to continue their football career. You provide a platform to kind of launch them into whether it's more football opportunity, more academic opportunity. So let's talk a little. I don't want to get too much in the weeds on the technicality of this, but I think it's important that we talk about it. So what Ramah is a junior college football program, right? So explain what is the difference between that compared to a 4-year school, and why is the difference important?
Well, it's basically like a post-grad, and we're like independent. So we just started with a few teams, and now we've grown it into an actual conference. So the only difference is the actual Jucos there, have the school, the campus and stuff like that. We don't have the school. So we have to find a local college to send them to for the educational part, and we do like the football part.
So where would kids go to school then?
York Tech. If someone want to stay home, where they at with their local technical school, they can do that online. But just come up here for housing. They can get the housing part in.
So does that have to be a 2-year program that they're registered in?
Yes, it has to be a 2-year program.
So my understanding is when someone's getting this opportunity, that it's not counting against their eligibility to continue to play football if they go into a 4-year program.
Right. It doesn't count against their eligibility, but let me back up for a second. It has to be a SACS regional accreditation.
Okay.
If it's not that, then we'll be messing with their eligibility. You'll be messing with their financial aid. And those factors you have to really look at. And so the program that we have our young men attending is a SACS regional accreditation, which allows any classes to transfer anywhere in the country, as long as they maintain a 2.0.
So they come to a year or two at the program. Now they have a better GPA with college credits under their belt, probably some good game film, getting on the field and continuing to play football. And it didn't count against their eligibility if they want to go into a 4-year program.
Right. It doesn't. Well, it doesn't hurt their eligibility.
Okay.
What they end up getting, the NCAA allows you 10 semesters to play 4 years of football. Now, it depends on how you come out of school as a partial qualifier or a full or a non-qualifier.
Okay.
Worst case scenario, we've been getting a lot of guys that's coming out as partials. So as a partial, they go NAIA after 12 credits, which still gives them 4 years. Or they go Division II after 24 credit, which still gives them 4 years. And if a young man is a non-qualifier, he would actually have 3 years of football left, but he can pick his 4th year up by going after his bachelor's degree. Yes.
So most of the guys that you've sent on to 4-year programs, when you say they've gone on to school, they're playing football too, right?
They're playing football. One of our most noted guys, well, we have several noted guys, but one that I'm really admired in our program that played with us was Corey Mobley. He's at UNC Charlotte. I'm real proud of Tyreek Steele. What is it, Tyreek Steele or Tyreek
Cumbie?
Yeah, Cumbie. That's his last name. I used to call him Cucumber, but yeah.
Well, that's one thing that amazes me, Bakari, is how many people actually have come through this program over the last few years. And not just on a football level, like the coaching that they've received and the discipline that they receive, but these are guys that you keep up with and that keep up with you far beyond the seasonality of the program. I mean, I talk to you all the time, and you're like, hey, I just heard from so-and-so, and it could be someone that was in the program 3 or 4 years ago, and you're still constantly texting with them and checking on them and making sure they're good. What is it about y'all? Like, why do y'all do this? What is it about you that these guys, what do they see in the program? What do you see in these guys? I know that y'all, what's crazy to me is that you basically do this yourselves. You don't get paid. You're not doing this for a salary. It's basically a second full-time job that you've committed to only to provide an opportunity for these guys. Is it hard to keep up with that many people?
Yeah, it gets hard. It gets hard.
Because you're basically a mentor, like a coach, a big brother, like a father figure for a lot of these guys. And just, you said you've had 100 guys going to different programs. You've had, how many guys have come through Ramah so far? 150 maybe, 200?
Yeah, maybe 200, not a little more.
200.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And somehow you managed to keep up with nearly everybody. That's pretty amazing.
I just talked to Trey Parker today, and he didn't know what he was going to do, and he ended up with his academics and his athletic play. They awarded him during COVID for the spring semester coming. It's fully his tuition is fully paid. It's paid, and he's excited about it.
Wow.
And he's getting to play his last year of football. So
you talk about Trey Parker. That's one of the best natural athletes I think I've ever seen.
And he's gotten bigger.
That guy's a beast.
And he's gotten bigger.
Just naturally.
Yes.
And I remember asking him like how much he lifts. He's like, I don't lift. I just do body weight stuff. And he's like 300 pounds. You're like, that's unbelievable.
He told me he maxed out at like 535 on the bench press.
Wow.
Yes.
And he probably didn't really train for a max out either.
No, he just works out.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Right now is difficult times, like for a lot of programs. Big Ten's trying to figure out what they're going to do. SEC says they're going to play. How has everything with COVID affected the program and your plans for this season?
This would have probably been the best recruiting class we've had so far. So once this happened, I talked to Bakari, and we also talked to the other coaches. And for safety reasons, the players' health are more important to us right now. So we had decided to, cancel the season after we talked to the parents, and they were all on board. So, and football is going to be here, but your life, that only comes once. So we didn't hesitate about it to cancel the season.
So do you think you're going to try to pick it up in the spring or go into next year?
Yes, we're going to go into next year. I think we're going to start in February. So start spring season. So
something different. Not 2 days in the 100-degree heat.
No, we're gonna get out there and do about 4 games. Yeah, no, I think we're gonna also make like because I'm actually over the conference, and that's why Derek is over the team, and he's getting ready. He's the head coach and getting ready to take over the whole team, which he just found that out in his conversation.
Really?
He's gonna be taking over everything soon because I gotta do more conference stuff.
Derek.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about roles a little bit while we're on that subject because, both of y'all. Well, I don't know how far back we want to go because let's talk about the Scorpions for a minute. So that was the first endeavor into football in this area. I mean, other than high school, but the Scorpions were like a semi-pro team. And how did that come about?
Derek saw me in Walmart. He said something to me and gave me his phone number. And they said, "Hey man, you ought to do this."
What was that, Derek? You just missed playing football?
Oh yeah, because when I did 3 years of varsity football at Rocky High, then I went to Garden City Community College in Kansas. So I didn't have a long stay there due personal reasons. So I came back and I was just thinking like, is football over for me? So I found Tri-County Jaguars in 2001. And I was like the youngest guy on the team, like at 19, and everybody else was like 25, 30, 35-year-olds. And so they were like grown men. So I was just a little nervous, but I went out there, man, and I just made a name for myself really quick because I just had that mentality, anything that gets in my way, it's not going to stop me. So I just started playing from there. And that's when we got up in 2007, and we formed the Scorpions in 2008. We actually went to a championship our first year.
Wow. And you were the coach, right?
I was I was the coach and I was the offensive coordinator.
And you were playing defense.
Yeah, linebacker.
Before we go any further, he has his famous clip on YouTube where he hit this guy and knocked him out of his shoes, literally.
Oh!
Yes. And then the guy got up and walked to our sideline and laid down and asked, was he in the right place?
He walked to the wrong sideline?
Yes. He literally knocked his shoe, went to the right, his body went to the left.
Oh.
Yeah. It was...
Can we pull that up? What do you have to search?
I gotta find it.
You have to find it, but it's out there. He knocked that dude silly.
And I was actually at free safety when I did that because free safety, he was just back there. I was like, man, we need somebody back there that's going to hit this receiver because he was just talking the whole game. And then he was just like, you a linebacker, you too slow. I was like, dude, you have no idea. And I was just like begging. Pedro at the time was the defensive coordinator. I said, put me at free safety, please. So the second play I was back there, he did like a slant across the middle. And I just came, man, and it was like
I should have seen it, man.
Knocked him out of his shoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought he about killed him.
Oh.
Yeah. It was unbelievable, man. I don't even, I've seen that young man.
So you play with a lot of passion.
Yeah, that's.
I've seen you play flag football, man. You play flag football with a lot of passion.
Yeah.
I've been offered to play. I did have the opportunity in 2007 to play indoor league football. It was my first game. It was up in Fayetteville, and at halftime they were like, "Yeah, you look pretty good, man. So there's an opportunity. We might want to continue on with you." But in the third quarter, a guy cheap shot at me. Then when he did, it came down on my right ankle, and it went the opposite direction. It broke my fibula bone and messed up some ligaments back there. So yeah, I was.
Is that basically it?
It was painful, man. I rehabbed and I came back, and that's, got with the Scorpions and stuff.
That's a team you started from scratch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't your first. So the Rams was not your first endeavor into starting a team.
No, it wasn't
from scratch. But I want to talk a little bit about, because there was one day you came to my office and said, "Joel, I want to start a college football team."
Yes.
And again, this is Football City, USA. We have some of the best high school football in the country. We churn out NFL athletes like no other city in the world. But there's no college football team here.
Right.
And I went to Winthrop. Winthrop doesn't have a college football team. And I pretty much told you it couldn't be done.
Yeah. Yeah, but you also say, it's the way you said it. You were like, It's the way you said it. I was like, what? Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess I knew I thought it couldn't be done, but I also know better than to not bet against you if you set your mind to something like you want to get something done. But what amazed me is it was like 2 weeks later, you came to my office and said, okay, I have a roster. I have coaches lined up. We have a schedule. We are going to play at District 3 at the time I think it might have been Fort Mill. Might have been District 3.
Yeah, well, District 3.
District 3. And you basically had it all set up in like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. I just
did it.
Just started talking to people, and I called Coach Mims, somebody I knew for a while, and he said, "Let me send you a list of schools and some guys that haven't gotten recruited." So I just started calling them. They're like, "Sure, I love to play if I get the opportunity." So I started talking to them, talking to the parents. Next thing I know, I had the kids coming down here to play football.
And not just locally, you had kids
from Michigan, we had Virginia, Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Texas.
Were you surprised by that?
Yeah, I was. Because I thought I was going to get a lot of locals. But it seemed like the locals want to leave. And so I'm saying, well, if our locals want to leave, then those locals in those areas, they want to leave. Yeah, so it kind of surprised me.
So when you talk to these guys, when someone calls you from Michigan or someone calls you from Texas, because you mentioned Trey, I think he's from Texas, obviously, like Fort Worth area. Have a lot of them heard of Rock Hill? Do they know what they're getting into?
No, they didn't know.
They didn't know? They didn't know the background that y'all come from. I mean, you know the difference between playing for a football team in high school and playing for a football program in high school. And I know the way I've seen your practices. I know how you run practices. Is there a little bit of a culture shock for some of these guys coming into a disciplined football environment?
Yeah. You want to get that one there.
I kind of feel bad for some of them, especially with Coach Bruton, Lawrence Bruton. Man, he runs them. When they get tired, guess what he do? He runs them more. So I think we've been in the best shape than any other team we played because they showed in the fourth quarter. But we try to teach these guys not just football, how to think. When your mind's not really thinking, you're tired, you're not thinking. So I might go past them and say, what's 2 + 2? And you'll be surprised. Some of them, Coach, because they're not thinking. And so they're so tired. So, but we teach them life stuff as well. We actually had a few players talk to us the other day. He messaged me and he was like, "Coach, can I come back?" And he said, "There's nothing down here, Coach. I want to do something myself." And he talked to us, and what I did is I talked to Coach Rawson and the other coaches, and made a decision. We're going to bring him back, and another young man we're going to bring back because I think they need this. A lot of these kids don't get the exposure, so I think getting exposure to other different things in life and just where they're from or that state, or some of them never been out of that state. So when they see the different environment and exposure, that makes them really want to go out and just go hard in life and do what they got to do to make it. So
you're noticing a difference in the character side as well.
Yes. There's going to be ups and downs. There might be some times that, the player might not like what we have to say, or they might go in one ear, go the other, because at that time, they're just, all right, we hear this all the time.
Derek, you're kind of soft-spoken, kind of quiet. How does that change once you're coaching? Because I've seen that kind of the switch flip a little bit. What do you like on the football field, man?
I think even the coaching, I'm kind of, at times I might think that I'm playing again. And it's just like I take the way I was, the way I played, and I coach the same way, the same mentality. So I don't take no excuses, and I'm just straightforward with it. Coach Rogers can really tell you.
I'm sorry. It's just some incidents I've seen, man, where he Well, he's talked to some kids that come off the field, and he made some comments like, "You didn't see what you was doing? You was out there by yourself." And then they'll come up with an excuse. And he was like, "Man, sit down. We just didn't have time for the excuse. You're supposed to make the tackle, and you didn't make the tackle. And do your part, do your job." Mm-hmm. That a lot of his coaching is that. Do what you're out there to do. You're not out there to be playing on the left side of the field when you're supposed to be on the right side of the field, unless the ball is over there. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of his coaching. It's so hard, but yet it's straight to the point. It's just like life. If you know you're supposed to get up and pay your bills, go pay your bills. Don't go out and buy a pair of tennis shoes if you don't have the money. That's how a lot of his coaching is. It makes a lot of sense. Now when there's an incident going on and it shouldn't be going on, you're gonna see that side too. So.
Are kids a little surprised when they come in, first practice or the first game? And
what? What? Why are you talking? Stop talking. Get your mind together. Yeah, but when you say it's a culture shock, it is a real culture shock. Mm-hmm. Because they come down here and the fundamentals are different but more effective. The conditioning is very effective, but it's very different. And a lot of guys think just because they were good in high school or were starters, they have to understand that they're playing against other guys that have the same goal, the same mission, and they were starters too. You may not be a starter when you get here because you have another person that wants to be a starter as well. So the competition level, you 6'3", 240, he's 6'3", 240.
Who wants it more?
That's right. Who wants it? Now, that's my speech. Mm-hmm. How bad do you want it? Get up. If you want it that bad, you got to want it more than you want to breathe. And if you feel like that your breathing is not important, then you didn't want it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, what blows my mind about this whole thing is, how it all came together. Like it just seemed blessed from the out of the gate somehow. And I know it's because of hard work, and people don't see that behind the scenes. But from an outside perspective, to see this go from non-existent to full rosters, games, and everything seemingly in a very short amount of time seems like borderline miraculous. But when you see the difference, when you see the outcomes, to me that really explains why. Because obviously there's a demand. Obviously the student athletes need it and want it. The parents need it and want it. We kind of touched on it earlier that the two of you don't take pay from this. I mean, this is a passion. This is what you do. But you're not the only two people there coaching every day. Did you find it difficult to go find other coaches to put the time into this and to have the same level of passion that the two of you do?
I mean, it's a struggle at times, because we've went through a few coaches as well. Mm-hmm. Now we've had coaches come in and they've gotten jobs at high schools. They use this as a platform to, better themselves as well. But a lot of people is always looking to get something, and that's something we can't provide. And we tell them the truth that we tell them we give them our passion and why we're doing it.
Yeah. I got to tell you, it's contagious.
Yeah, I mean,
I know it helps.
Yeah, if you want that same thing, that's why the Bible says you got to be around like-minded people. Mm-hmm. And this year we got a very strong, solid coaching staff, and we're going to be very successful. There's no way around it. No matter how if we even try to fail, it's going to be successful. Our worst is going to be what I'm trying to say is that even at our worst, it's going to be better than the people that we are in competition against, especially with this coaching staff that we have.
That's amazing.
Yes, I mean, Coach Crawford, he actually picked the missing links that we had in coaching. He picked them and talked to them, and boom.
So you've got the roster coming together. Mm-hmm. We have. Now, you've been the head coach, but now you're saying Derek's going to take over more day-to-day because you've been running the program of the team and operations. Mm-hmm. You're the head coach of the team itself. So we have some change there. Mm-hmm. So that's literally what you just told me, and you said that he just learned that, right?
Yeah, he just learned.
How do you feel about that?
I'll be ready. This is my second year coming into being the head coach because before I was the defensive coordinator. So it's some things too I learned. You learn as you go. No matter how long you've been playing or coaching, you're always gonna learn something new. So we want to be better and better every year. We want to continue to get better. So you're going to have some bumps in the roads, and, you got to take what you've done wrong or say, hey, we got to make this better, make this more organized and stuff like that. So you're going to have that, especially the way we're doing it. It's coming from nothing. So I'm excited. And I think this year as a head coach, I have notes that I write down and stuff like, what can I do better? I watch videos and stuff like that, and just make me say, hey, when I come out this time, I'm going to be like really, really ready. And I think my passion on the sideline is when the kids see that, I want that to transform into them. So, and the coaching staff, like I said, is really great too. I'm excited about this coaching staff.
So on the other side of this, you mentioned how many kids are going into 4-year programs.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, are those coaches calling you saying, hey, I know everyone knows about this program.
Mm-hmm.
I know y'all are making a difference in these kids on the character side, on the football side, on the education side. Who do you have? Or are you having to push these athletes onto other programs?
Well, we actually been getting a lot of calls, and I'm really excited about it. In the startup, we had to make calls. Now we getting phone calls. We actually got a couple programs that want to do what they call a bounce back, where they send us the athlete, we get them prepared academically, mentally, and physically, and then just they got a home once they complete the course.
So basically they come in for a year into your program.
Mm-hmm.
So this might be a kid that some other school has already identified. They want that athlete, but they feel like they need to go to Ramah boot camp for a little while first to be ready for that kind of program. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
That's pretty cool. So at some level, if that happens several times over, they're basically doing your recruiting for you.
Right. And that's what I like.
Yeah.
They're doing it for us. But on Twitter, all we got to do is just make one post and everybody's on it. A lot of recruiting companies are talking about us. We actually were able to help an individual start his recruiting company just through us. And he'll be there on September the 12th.
Speaking of recruiting, so y'all have you weren't able to play a season this fall, but you have a big workout coming up in a couple weeks. Who is that for?
It's originally for the 2019, 2020, and 21 kids. But there has been some kids that's 2022, 2023 that wants to come, even a few middle schoolers. It's like, hey, if they want to come get to work, because a lot of the high schools in North Carolina, they're not playing this year. So we end up putting it out maybe about a month ago. And right now we're at like 109 responses, individual signups. So, but we're only going to take about 80, 80 kids. We don't want to put too many out there. So we have a lot, and we have a few guys that's committed to us that's going to be there as well. And so we're going to have some 4-year college coaches out there. So this is a chance for them to get exposed and, see what it does from there.
So you're going to bring in other coaches from 4-year programs, and these high school kids, graduating kids, have the opportunity to work out in front of them and display their talent.
Correct.
So how does someone register for this?
Well, we did a flyer. Lawrence is Coach Bruton is our flyer guy. He's good with that graphic stuff. I'm terrible. He's the flyer guy. So I actually my wife helped me create a Google form to sign up and stuff like that. So ask for their height, weight, school, how did you hear about the program, and things of that nature, email, phone number. And once they sign up, it comes to me, and privately I can just see every time somebody signs up and register.
Does it actually cost these kids anything?
No, it's free.
So that's, I think, the big difference here, because you're not charging these kids to come get this opportunity. A lot of programs might charge hundreds of dollars for an opportunity like this. How are you going to – you said you're going to narrow it down to about 80. What are you using to narrow it down?
In the sign-up, some guys when they sign up, it might come like twice or 3 times. When they sign up, they might have hit it a few times. So I just kind of narrow that down, and that's how we get the numbers there. Because it said 109, so it's really maybe like 80-something kids.
So do they go to your website to register?
Yes.
So the form's right there. Oh, he's got it pulled up. So they can go to your website somewhere. Is this it?
Yes.
So the workout registration, is it full?
Yes.
It's full now.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. So you're going to have 80 kids come that would otherwise have to spend a lot of money, or the parents would have to come up with a lot of money for an opportunity like this.
Yeah, you're looking at an average of $125 just to come to a workout.
That's what it normally is?
Yeah. And there's no colleges there, and there's no way to stream. They don't even get it streamed out. And they promise to get that information out to the different college programs. But what ended up happening is we've been to a lot of those workouts, and we're the only ones there.
After someone pays the money.
After someone pays the money, Ramah's the only program there looking at guys. We've been to several of them. And I'm wondering, like, why are y'all paying $125 to go to this workout? And if a kid is at a workout and he's already getting recruited, they'll post that like they got the kid recruited. And that's not fair to the – and then they get to come for free because they already getting recruited. It's just to build their status. Mm-hmm. You know, so I'm saying just be fair. Be fair and be honest. You know, we're going to have our coaches there. We're going to have some college coaches there. We've already talked to the guys in the coaches union. There's over 8,000 of those coaches. It's going to be streamed out to them as well, you know, because a lot of people can't make it. A lot of coaches won't make it. So we're taking other routes also to get these young men in front of these college coaches.
Is it going to be streamed on Facebook?
Yeah, it's going to go through Facebook through the coaches union.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we're going to also do some Zooms.
Oh, we should talk about where. Now, this is going to be in Riverwalk. In Rock Hill, September 12th. What time?
You got the times.
10 a.m. But of course, me and Coach Rawls and a few other coaches will be there a few hours early, setting up, getting stuff ready and stuff like that. So, you know, have the paperwork for the guys who already registered. So when they come, they sign their name, you know, and sign whatever they need to sign and get their shirts and stuff like that. So we can just get them out there and get them going.
So Coach Bruton can run them.
I've seen it, man.
Yeah.
I think he's going to take it easy just because it's a workout.
It's a hill over there.
Yeah.
And that hill is, that hill is
real.
Yes, and a lot of guys, I think we had one day the team wasn't doing what he wanted them to do. They had to do 50 ups and 50 downs on that hill.
Oh, I came over there that day. And my daughter tried to run with them up and down that hill a few times. I think she did 3 or 4, and then she was done. She didn't make all 50.
Yeah, well,
she was like 4 years old at the time.
Yeah.
So,
and it was rough on those guys that day. They was laying around on the ground, and Coach Bruton was like, "Okay, one more."
Their legs was wobbling like noodles.
Yeah.
And then they went and practiced.
Yes,
that wasn't it. They had to go play after that.
Yes, they had to, but they done what they done. After that, we didn't have any more issues, you know, and that was huge. Yeah. You know. So I mean, I really like Coach Bruton and what he does.
So, what does the future of Ramah football look like?
Well, I mean, we actually we're working now with a university to be up under their curriculum, so we can have more control about the guys coming in. And I'm starting to realize that e-learning is basically the future. Mm-hmm. It's going toward being a future for everyone, all colleges and even some of the high schools. So we're going to be working with that, and we're going to be up under the SACS regional accreditation. So basically, we'll be able to get full financial aid for our program.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
How many people do you think? What's your target for the number of kids coming in the program?
For this,
for like on a yearly basis to come onto the team,
we're going to average 60. I don't want to get. I don't want to get more than that, unless Crawford wants more than that. I mean, what I'm starting to what I'm honestly starting to see, the response is you're going to have to end up running 2 teams.
What about other sports?
Well, we're looking at that. We're looking at basketball. We're looking at baseball, track, volleyball. That is part of the future. It's coming
as we continue to grow and really get the financial support to do that. So we're going to branch off and get other sports. So,
seeing what y'all have done from the very beginning and seeing where you are now, it is really motivating. It is really encouraging. It's amazing to see the difference in everyone's lives. It's amazing to see the product on the field and the quality of the football. I love to support Ramah football. How can someone else get involved to help and support what you guys are doing?
Well, they can reach out to us through mail if they want to at P.O. Box 11244. Wait, what did I just say?
It's on the website too.
It's on the website. P.O. Box 12144, Rock Hill, South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Make it out to Ramah football, or they can email us or at rracademy15@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. Those are the 2 ways they got, or they can just reach out with a simple phone call.
And what is the website? Can you tell us the address, Trent?
It's RamahJucoRams.com.
Okay.
And of course, we're 501c3
non-profit organization. Yes.
So any financial support's deductible.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that we should know about Ramah football?
I mean, it's going to be an exciting year coming, and especially I already know that we got several wide receivers that were highly touted by Division I programs, and it's going to be. I think it's going to be an air show.
Who's the quarterback
this year? We can't name the quarterback this year.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man, look at that sponsor.
Look at who is that sponsor?
Oh, who is that? Schiller Hamilton.
Yeah,
I know that.
who is that? Who is that? Yes. And
are you saying it's a surprise, or you don't want to name the quarterback yet?
Well, we can't name him yet because it's going to be a battle.
You've got a couple coming in. Okay.
Yes, it's going to be a battle. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and actually, I didn't tell you this today when I was at school working. I actually got a phone call, and I received a voicemail, and I stepped out to check it. It was some college in Michigan, and he was like, "Hey, coach, kind of been following you guys, watching you guys. We need some players that can graduate in January, can come up here and play." Offensive lineman, tight end, defensive backs, and defensive lineman is what they're looking for. So I kind of told him a little bit about the workout, and sent him my email, and he sent me his email back, and he's gonna talk to us later this evening. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah,
the hits just keep coming, man.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively,
yes.
right?
Yes. I'm excited. I mean, like I said, it started from 0. Now it's on its way to 100. So that's something to be excited about.
Yeah. And I just love how much this community gets behind football. Mm-hmm. We have such a tradition here in Rock Hill for football excellence and developing quality student athletes with character. And y'all are a huge part of that. And I just want to continue to see the community support you, the whole region. So I'm just glad that we had the opportunity to sit down and talk today. I'm really grateful for y'all to come in here and talk to us. So thanks for coming in. Thanks, everyone who's listening. Schiller Hamilton Law Firm podcast. We look forward to our next episode, and I look forward to having y'all back in here as soon as we actually get some games going again to hear how everything's going and hear about the next step.
We're going to make sure it's a calm one, right, Crawford?
Maybe we can interview a few of the players, man.
And talk to some of the guys, too.
I'd love to get it from their perspective of what they've been through.
We actually, on September the 12th, we have one of our our safeties coming. The kid is 6'3", 220.
Safety.
Yeah,
that's real.
Yeah, that's real. And on film, he's dynamic. He's unbelievable. He was a starting safety in high school and a starting wide receiver. And he could have got recruited for both. His GPA kept him in a place where he couldn't go. And he'll be here. I mean, he's dynamic. Is he
going to come into the program?
Yeah, he's in the program. He's head over heels. He's in the program.
Nice.
He'll be here September the 12th. And I'm afraid when some of the colleges see him,
he might be gone.
He might be gone.
Well, that's the whole point, right?
Correct.
And that'll just make it that much easier for y'all to bring in the next one. Because at the end of the day, if you're creating opportunities for everybody, the pipeline fills itself, right?
Yes, it does.
That's awesome. Well, thank y'all for everything you do to make a difference in the lives of all these student athletes, and frankly, the whole community. So we could talk about that all day too. So
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
All right.